Hi everyone, Meteorologist Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio, joining you for another live weather update. Going to kind of go through the local, regional, and national headlines, what we're looking at for the forecast for today, into the weekend, into early next week. But it is Thursday, so does mean we're going to start off with a look at the latest drought monitor that was just released this morning. And much like we've seen the last several weeks, things continue to just get a little bit worse. So this was the drought monitor we had released last week. We did see some pretty big expansion in areas of severe drought, again sort of the darker orange color there last week, and unfortunately we continue to see more of the same as we head into this week. So this is the most recent drought monitor that was released this morning, and you can see we had expansion in both moderate and severe drought across the state, and now as you can see here on the image, the entire state now under some sort of drought, with again a pretty good chunk of it being moderate to severe drought. If you look at the change for Nebraska over the course of the last week, you can see again on this map here, those areas in yellow got one class of drought worse. So again, going from abnormally dry to moderate drought, or from moderate drought to severe drought. So again, things continue to get just a little bit worse, and again do have just a very small percentage of extreme drought in far northwestern Nebraska, but now almost all of eastern Nebraska under those severe drought conditions again, which is not surprising considering, again, still haven't seen really any measurable moisture this month. Saw less than a quarter of an inch in Lincoln at the Lincoln Airport last month, and I think it was about 2 inches below average in August. So again, been very dry over the past really 10 or so weeks for not just Lincoln, not just eastern Nebraska, but much of the entire state. So if you look at the time series of drought, you can see pretty rapid expansion starting really mid to late July. We really saw those drought conditions begin to expand pretty rapidly. We had a very wet July here in Lincoln, but that's again because we had some thunderstorms that produced some heavy rain. But again, most of the state didn't necessarily see as wet of a July as we did here in Lincoln. So you can see we went from probably 20% of the state under drought conditions in mid-July to now 100% of the state under some sort of drought conditions by mid-October. So just 4 months, and drought has expanded extremely rapidly. Almost half of the state under severe drought, just shade under 50%, about 35% under moderate drought, about 17% under abnormally dry conditions, and then just about 0.1%, again, that's in the far northwestern corner of the state, under any extreme drought. But again, pretty rapid expansion in our drought over the past several months. Again, there are some rain chances in the forecast, but don't think it's necessarily significant drought-altering rain chances. Just kind of holding it at bay, perhaps. Again, because October, November, December, January, we don't average very much precipitation in any of those months to begin with. Again, obviously, most of our moisture, again, is coming during the spring and the summer months. So, again, we don't average a whole lot, so we're not necessarily going to get a whole lot during these months. So we're going to continue to watch this, but, again, still have a lot of dry weather in the forecast over the next week to 2 weeks. So drought monitor nationally, again, you can obviously see Florida and into the southeast where Helene and Milton hit. No drought in those areas. Again, do still have a couple spots that we've been watching. We've seen some drought continue to increase and expand, obviously, across the middle parts of the country. Now have some extreme drought across parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri. Still have that extreme to exceptional drought in southwest Texas. And then the high plains, stretching from eastern Wyoming through the Dakotas into parts of eastern Montana. That's an area that's continued to see drought expand over the past several months as well. If you look at the national time series, the drought status, again, you can see we kind of bottomed out there. It's probably mid-May or so, but drought has been expanding again through the summer months and now into the fall. We have about a third of the country that is just abnormally dry, just under 30% that's in moderate drought, just over 12% that's in severe drought, under 5% under extreme drought, still less than 1% of the contiguous United States under any sort of exceptional drought conditions. So if you check out your weather headlines as we head into the day on Thursday, expecting a windy day today, but with the wind, we are going to see warmer temperatures, likely seeing those highs highs jump back into the 70s, maybe even 80s. Keeping an eye on chances for rain Friday and Monday. Those are going to be our two best rain days for rain chances across the state. And then temperatures are going to be a little up and down for us as we hit over the next week to 10 days, but generally a little bit cooler again than what we had the first half of the month. I think a little bit more comfortable, especially again for those of us who enjoy more fall-like conditions, 60s and 70s as opposed to 80s and 90s like we had the first half of the month. So we'll start off with look at the winds, because I think this is going to probably be the big story for the day today. It's going to be out of the south, and it is going to be a strong south wind. Again, that's going to be sending those temperatures into the 70s to near 80 degrees. And I think as we head through the afternoon, that wind is going to be gusting 35 to around 45 miles an hour at times. So again, this is likely going to give us some haze and dusty conditions. It's going to pick up a lot of that dust from the fields. Again, farmers have been working in. So again, don't be surprised if we see some dust issues out there today, and maybe some reduced visibility because of the dust. So again, especially if you're driving on any of those rural highways, maybe even the interstate, you could run into some problems at times because of this wind. And then even as we head past sunset tonight, that wind is expected to remain on the strong side through the overnight hours tonight. That wind is still going to be gusting, I think, 25 to 35 miles an hour, and then it remains windy as we head into the day tomorrow. As a cold front begins to cut across the state from west to east, we're still going to see that strong south wind gusting maybe 35 to 45 miles an hour. Maybe not quite as strong tomorrow as it will be today, but it's still going to be awfully blustery, and then that wind should continue to settle down just a little bit as that front continues to push through the state as we head into the day on Saturday. Again, you see those south winds gusting maybe 20 to 30 miles an hour through the day on Saturday. But that front will kind of slowly push its way through the state, bringing again some rain chances, but against pretty breezy conditions for a lot of us as well. Low temperatures this morning, not nearly as cold as they were yesterday morning. We had that south wind overnight tonight that kept lows generally in the mid to upper 40s to right around 50 degrees. Nebraska City and Falls City, some of the cooler spots in eastern Nebraska, they did drop down to 38, 36 in Alliance this morning. In the Lincoln metro area, our Tempest weather stations here in town, we had lows drop down mid to upper 40s for most locations. So again, not a bad morning, not certainly warmer than it was yesterday morning by about 20 degrees or so. Right now in Lincoln, again, mainly sunny skies. Temperature back already up to 55, 51 here at the studio. That south wind already gusting to 35 miles an hour. Temperatures, again, on the Tempest weather stations here in town generally sit in the lower to middle 50s. And temperatures statewide generally in the lower to middle 50s. A few spots still hanging on to some 40s out west and then along the river in far eastern sections of the state. Winds generally out of the south right now sustained at around 10 to 20 miles an hour, but again, already seeing those winds gusting 25 to around 35 miles an hour, and expect those winds to continue to increase as we head through the day today. Again, with the dry and breezy conditions, we do have red flag warnings that are back out, so more critical fire conditions, and we'll take a look at that in just a second. Satellite radar picture is quiet. Again, sunny skies to start the day across the state. You zoom out, look at a regional view, things remain fairly quiet, although again, with that cold front just off to our west, we do have some rain and snow showers across parts of Montana, Wyoming, into Utah and Colorado. Those showers will try and make their way into our, at least the western sections of the state as we head into the day tomorrow. Eastern Nebraska will see a small chance for rain, I think, on Friday, better chance on Monday of next week. Zoom out even further, look at a national view. Again, overall, things are fairly quiet. We like it that way after the weather we've had for the past several weeks. Again, certainly the tropical weather. Again, nothing expected for tropical weather or tropical impacts over the course of the next week. If you look at the weather alerts, again, we have a number of colors on our map. Again, obviously the big one being that darker pink color across much of Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, the Dakotas. Those are red flag warnings that are in place through this evening. Again, dry and breezy conditions, critical fire danger. Again, any fires that do potentially start could get out of hand pretty quickly, so want to urge folks to use, again, extra caution if they're going to be outside. No outdoor burning, and again, just be mindful, any sparks or anything like that, as those fires could get out of hand pretty quickly. Also, have some winter storm watches, winter storm warnings, freeze watches, freeze warnings, winter weather advisories in place across the Rockies from southern Colorado through Wyoming Wyoming into parts of Montana and Idaho. Again, the mountains could see several inches of snow as cold front moves through the area. Again, 'tis the season now. So dealing with some of those winter weather headlines for the high country just off to our west. Skycast as we head through the day today. Again, really the wind is going to be the biggest issue for us in Nebraska. Otherwise, it's going to be mainly sunny. Some clouds begin to move in the far west as we head into this evening, and then we'll start to see a chance for a few spotty showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm across parts of western Nebraska as we head into the night tonight. Most of the state, though, again, likely staying dry. I think better chances for rain for the western and southwestern sections of the state arrive as we head into the day on Friday. For Lincoln and eastern Nebraska, we'll see a little bit more cloud cover for the day tomorrow, and there's an outside chance at a spotty shower or two, but I think most of eastern Nebraska will stay dry as we head through the day on Friday. Again, the better chances will be across the western and southwestern parts of the state. You can see here Friday evening some scattered showers, maybe some isolated thunderstorms possible in those areas. And then Friday into Saturday, as that front continues to kind of slowly push its way to the east, we'll see that, again, small chance for some showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm for Lincoln and eastern sections of the state as we head into the day on your Saturday. Again, we'll take any moisture that we can get at this point, but I do think we'll see a better chance for some moisture as another system moves through the area as we head into Monday of next week. So temperatures a little up and down as we head through the weekend, but at least some chances for rain. Keep an eye on those if you have any outdoor plans Friday evening. If you're in western Nebraska, in Lincoln and eastern Nebraska, again, I think small chance through the weekend, better chance on Monday. So precipitation potential as we head over the course of the next week. Again, right now we're keeping an eye on kind of eastern Colorado, western Kansas into southwestern Nebraska for the highest potential amounts. Again, it looks like across parts of southeastern Colorado they could see 1, 2, 3 inches of moisture as we head over the course of the next week. Again, not quite that much in Nebraska, but southwestern Nebraska I think could pick up anywhere from half an inch to maybe an inch and a half of moisture cumulatively through several rounds of moisture over the course of the next week. For central and eastern Nebraska, not quite as much. I think high-end amounts could be a quarter to a half an inch, which again, that would be more than we've had in the past 6 weeks. So we'll take whatever we can get, but those chances are there, which again is more than we can say for the past several weeks when this map was completely blank and we weren't expecting any moisture at all. Temperatures today warmer, again back well above average in many locations, mid-70s to low to mid-80s, thanks in part to that strong south wind that we're expecting through the day today. So again, normal high temperatures nowadays, generally mid-60s across the state, so we're a good 10 to 15 to even 20 degrees above that through the day today. Low temperatures tonight staying mild thanks to that south wind that's going to stay on the strong side. We'll look for lows generally in the lower to middle 50s across much of the 10-11 coverage area, and then high temperatures Friday. Again, a little bit cooler, but still above average for most of the coverage area. You can see with that cold front arriving in western Nebraska, temperatures will be cooler out west in the 50s to near 60, but most of the 10-11 coverage area is still seeing highs into the 70s, well into the 70s Friday afternoon. This Friday into Saturday, lows again remain well above average, generally in the upper 40s to low to mid 50s. A little bit cooler across the Sandhills and far western Nebraska. A little bit cooler than on Saturday. We're going to see a mix 50s, 60s, and low to mid 70s. Warmest readings across the eastern sections of the state, including in Lincoln at 73 degrees, 67 in Grand Island, 61 in North Platte, 57 in Scottsbluff. Lows on Sunday morning, still above average, mid to upper 40s to right around 50 degrees. And then Sunday, temperatures do rebound just a little bit, jumping back upper 60s to upper 70s from west to east across the state. So 7-day forecast in Lincoln looks like this. Windy the next couple days. Low 70s on Saturday to start the weekend. Upper 70s on Sunday to end the weekend. And then Monday is that best chance for moisture over the next week. 40% chance for showers. Maybe an isolated thunderstorm mixed in there. Highs in the mid-60s. Back to the mid-70s on Tuesday, but then back to the mid-60s by next Wednesday. Also notice the morning lows over the course of the next week. Nowhere near freezing. We're going to stay in the mid-upper 40s and even low to mid-50s for those low temperatures over the course of the next week. And then I mentioned it as you look at the 10-day forecast for select cities across the state. Again, a little up and down. We're kind of bouncing around a little bit, seeing temperatures ranging anywhere from the mid-60s to the mid-70s over the course of the next 10 days. Rainfall chances, again, they're out there, especially for western, southwestern Nebraska, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then again, Monday would likely be the best chance for moisture for Lincoln and eastern sections of the state, especially into southeastern sections of the state. Long-range outlooks, 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Climate Prediction Center, again, continues to favor above average temperatures across the area. This is October 24th through October 30th. And again, also continues to favor some parts of the state, far eastern Nebraska, with above average precip, with equal chances for both above and below average precip for a good chunk of the state. But above average precip is favored by at least a small margin for the eastern sections of the state. So again, we'll definitely take that with the recent trends in the drought monitor and our rainfall that we've seen over the past 8 to 10 weeks or so. So that is something that we'll obviously keep a close eye on in the Weather Center. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. As always, keep it tuned to 1011, both on air and online, for all of your latest news, weather, and sports. And until next time, hope everyone has a nice Thursday.